Claudia. We met about 4 years ago, maybe?
4 years ago at Clark Community College, and I was attending college for my first time. I went back to college when I was 45 years old because I had a divorce, and I didn't know what to expect. I worked on a job at a senior citizens home for $8 an hour. My supervisor told me that if I worked for 1 full year, that she would give me a raise. And I worked for 1 full year. She taught me the true meaning of multitask. And after that year, she gave me a 24-cent raise, and I was heartbroken. It's funny, I know it's funny.
Sorry.
But it's funny now, but it wasn't funny then.
Yes.
And that's how I started my journey at Clark Community College. My husband took care of me all my life. I was spoiled. I went from my parents to my husband. And then I had to take care of myself. So when I went to Clark College, I didn't know what to expect. And I was full of fear. So it takes a lot of courage to go to college. But I can tell you that it's worth it. The difficult part for me in college is that being the only black person in every classroom that I went into. Not only was I the only black person, I was older. Of course, I didn't look older because I'm 53 now.
Yeah,
so when I was 45,
tell.
I kind of didn't look old, but I felt old. And I felt very inadequate. Like I didn't know. Everybody knew something that I didn't know. What I found out is that we are not in college to know, we're in college to learn. And if you open your mind and are willing to try everything offered to you, that you have the capacity to learn. God gave us an innate ability to learn. And so when I go to class now, or wherever I'm at, if something new comes up, I remind myself that I have the courage to try, and I have an innate ability to learn. So we're not in college to know. You don't need to know how to do Algebra 1. You don't need to know what a variable is. You don't need to know about economics. All you need is an open mind and a willingness to try. Courage and willingness, and you can learn.
So you said that you really liked it at Clark College.
I loved it at Clark College. They had a math lab. I was afraid of math because I didn't know how to do it. And so what I did is I had a journal. And so before I would ask someone to help me, I would write the question down, the math problem down. So say example, 2x plus 5 equals 10. I would write that down. Then I would raise my hand and someone would come and help me. Ask for help. Do not be afraid to tell the people I don't know how to do this. Ask for help at Clark College, you will receive it. They have math labs, they have English labs, they have a lab for everything. And the professors are in there. The students know more than you if you're a beginning student. And everybody will be willing to help you. I sat in the math lab for so long. When I come in, the professor would say, "Oh, Claudia's home." But one day, I'm gonna cry. One day the light came on and I understood what was going on. And I learned how. And so today I teach 5th grade math and science. I'm a certified teacher. And I just graduated in 2013, March 2013 with my bachelor's in education. And I'm also certified. So in September I'll be teaching students. So don't give up on yourself. Clark College was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I'm so grateful to God that I had the courage to join. Because it takes courage. Another thing, I failed class. One time I had a class. And it was English because I caught on to math. Because math is always the same. But I was born in the lowest socioeconomic status, which means I was poor and black. And so I didn't have I'm learning standard English. And so when I came to Clark, it was very difficult to learn standard English. I was born in America, second class citizen. So I was born in 1960 without civil rights. And learning standard English was difficult. So I failed a class. And I thought about it, and I told to myself, it's not the end of the world. Get up and go to that professor and ask her, should I take it over with you or should I take it over with another professor? She didn't like me much, so she said, you take it over with another professor. And I took that class over, and I passed it the next time because things started coming together. And I didn't feel like a failure. I felt like a winner because I tried. So if you fail a class, it's not the end of the world. If you're on financial aid, you go and talk to them and you put it in writing. What happened? Why did you fail this class? Because whatever the reasons. The reasons are for me is because like I'm just a whisper out of slavery. My parents and my grandparents didn't read and write. You know, I'm 53, and so that you can tell that my parents are 90, my grandparents are 120. They didn't read and write, and we speak broken English in my neighborhood where we grew up. So standard English was very hard for me, but I kept trying. I never gave up. Another thing that I did is I always show up early for class and talk to them. So when my professor comes around the corner, because I thought that I would need more help than I actually needed. I found out in college that I'm actually a pretty bright person that can catch on. But when I first went there, I felt so inadequate and so not as smart as everyone else. I had this thinking feeling that everybody knew something that I didn't know, which is hilarious. That's funny. It's just
I know. I know the feeling. Yeah.
And but so I would go to class early, and then I would stay late. And at the first day of class, I always felt like I needed extra help. So what I would do was I would ask my professors for extra help. I would tell them my situation when class is out, and I would ask for help at the beginning of the class. Don't wait until the 2 weeks into the grades. Ask for help in the beginning. A lot of professors would like for you to ask them for help. Mr. Peterson was an English 101 teacher. He's the best teacher in the world. Hi, Mr. Peterson, I hope you hear this. He was the best teacher in the world, and I asked him for help, and he would help me. And I could come to class, and he would help me. I would go to the tutoring center, and Roderick also is an English teacher. He's a New York famous art guy. He's famous now, writing books.
Ooh.
Hi, Roderick. I hope you see me. He helped me. In the beginning, I would write my English papers over. I don't know how many times. He would read it and correct it and make me write it over. And I just kept trying until the light came on. So never give up on yourself. Continue to try. But ask for help in the beginning. Don't wait until you have 6 or 7 papers that need to be worked on. Ask for help at the first assignment. Say, I'm going to need help with this assignment. Most professors love it when you ask for help at the first assignment. They're like, they know you're serious, and they will help you. It also helps yourself to learn how to ask for help. Only a fool will not ask for help, especially out of college when it's available to them. So do yourself a favor and ask for help.
You seem to have a very, very strong work ethic. In fact, when I met you, I was tutoring in a math lab, and when I first saw you, and I saw you many times.
I lived in the math lab.
I saw you with your brows furrowed and just concentrating so hard, and I remember just being impressed at the determination that was on your face, that you kept going. That's why it was so nice to like catch up with you 4 years later and see that everything worked out so awesomely. Have you met people who weren't as good at dealing with things as you were?
Yes, and I'm not the brightest person there, and I'm not smart, and I'm not rich. But there's one thing I have is perseverance. I never gave up on myself, even in the end. And I thought, I don't know why, I would always think I wasn't going to graduate. And I had very low self-esteem, and I thought that I wasn't going to make it. I never quit, even when everything was telling me, you're stupid, you're black, nobody's going to help you, you're not going to be able to do this. I would always continue my work. I would finish my assignments, and I would turn them in. When it came to test time, I would have fear anxiety. I used to, but I don't anymore. Now I'm like, test. Just give me the paper. I passed the Washington Educator Skills Test for education. I just took tons of tests. I'm a test taker. But in the beginning, I wasn't. There's a solution, and just because I don't have the answer, Kinga does. Somebody out there in the world that you know or may not know that you're going to meet in the lab. It's a magical thing going on in that lab. It's like being at church. When the preacher preaches and the choir sings and the feeling comes in there, when you get in that math lab and people are learning and it helps other learners, it solidifies what I know if I teach it to someone else. And people know that. They want to help you. So ask for help. Yeah. The thing is, I never believed that I would be successful, but I never gave up. In the beginning, I came in there with a bad marriage, 45 years old, no education, and very little money. And my husband told me I wasn't attractive anymore, and I believed him. So I was like defeated. But something told me that it was a way out, that if I got an education, and I started listening to Martin Luther King tapes, I Have a Dream, and the content of someone's character, and that he died so poor people could have an education, and that people that with special needs could get help and live with dignity. And then as a matter of fact, this guy in the math lab gave me 4 Martin Luther King CDs that I used to listen to.
I didn't know that.
And those CDs encouraged me, and because of those CDs, I became a special education teacher. So I heard those Martin Luther Kings. He gave me copies of them in the math lab. I just remembered that. That is so awesome. So go to the math lab.